Hello there. In this video, I want to clear up some myths about bad credit and VA loans. I've done quite a bit of videos on bad credit and VA loans. I've noticed that there are a lot of misconceptions out there. People got things twisted, either things that I've said or someone else has said. So in this video, I want to clear up a few myths about bad credit and VA loans. Be sure to stay to the end of this video because I will share some good news and a clear path to success in getting mortgage approval. So, first thing to know is that no minimum credit score does not mean guaranteed approval. Unfortunately, certain people, including me, have pointed out the VA loan does not have a minimum credit score. People get it twisted. They think that means everybody is approved, and that's not true at all. The VA wants lenders to have guidelines. VA sets minimum guidelines because they want veterans to be successful. They don't want foreclosures. So that's the first thing to know is no minimum credit score does not mean guaranteed approval. It is flexible, but it's not guaranteed. Next thing to know is getting things caught up doesn't mean things are okay. I've had that happen where I talk to people and they say, oh, well, I was delinquent a couple months ago, but everything's caught up, so we're good now. No, it's not good now. You'll still have to wait a bit, typically. There are ways to get things deleted from credit, especially if you use credit repair and get a settlement. And so if you are trying to pay things off, I definitely do recommend you hire a credit repair service that's reputable, that can actually delete. It's called paper delete, where basically you delete bad things on your credit report in exchange for paying it off. So that's the way to do that the right way. Next thing is payment history is way, 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 I'm going to say way 3 times, more important than the credit score. I'll give you a quick example. We just closed one. My team and I closed one with a 476 credit score the other day. And there were some reasons, he had some late payments, but he also had a legitimate reason. He had what's called extenuating circumstance. In other words, his wife had cancer and caused some late payments, but he got everything caught up, and he was able to document that those extenuating circumstances were the reason for the late payments. Now, I had someone else that applied recently that had a 575 credit score that actually told her she needed to wait. And you're like, wait a minute, the credit score is 100 points higher. How did that second one get declined while the first one got approved? And the reason being is that the one I declined had a recent credit card default. And unfortunately, she did not have qualifying extenuating circumstances. She did have some medical issues, but the medical issues did not qualify as an extenuating circumstance. So I could not use that to discount that default. And so I said, you need to wait until it's been a year since that default happened. And we just weren't there yet. So it wasn't a no, it was a not today. So again, payment history is way more important than the credit score. Next one, speaking of extenuating circumstance, an extenuating circumstance is where someone has a recent late payment and they had a medical issue or a job layoff causing that. Now, the VA does allow for that, and because it is a very flexible program. But I will tell you right now, it's extremely hard to prove because you have to show that every single late payment was a direct result of that extenuating circumstance. But oftentimes, that's very, very hard to prove. It might be one or two, but to be able to show that every single late payment was that extenuating circumstance and nothing else happened that in the past year that would cause those late payments, because typically it's multiple things. It is, a medical issue or job loss, but it might also be, well, they were just unprepared and there were some bad habits that happened as well. So I will, look at extenuating circumstance cases. Don't feel like you shouldn't try for extenuating circumstance, but it's not a guarantee because you got to document every single thing. And it has to be, the extenuating circumstance also has to result in a loss of income. If it's, you're on disability and you're in the hospital, but our hospital bills are paid and you still were collecting disability payments, that kind of thing, that's impossible to prove. Psychological problems are also very, very difficult to prove because it's ongoing. And that's the other issue. Ongoing issues are also very, very hard to get approved because it's going to happen again, or maybe it was something that happened and it's still happening. That's not a good qualifying extenuating circumstance. So one that would qualify something like cancer or heart attack, something like that, something very dramatic that caused a massive loss of income, hospitalization, big bills, now you couldn't work, like those kind of things. But now everything's been resolved. Those are some very good qualifying extenuating circumstances. But here's some good news that you're almost always 2 years away or less from approval. If it's a late collection causing the delinquency, then causing the problems, once that collection's a year old, we can exclude that from qualifying you. And if it's a credit card late, that's a year old or older, we also can exclude that as well. Now, if it's, a rental issue, has to be 2 years old, bankruptcy 2 years old. So again, that's really not that long a waiting period, and it's more flexible than any other program out there. So that is the good news. That time heals all wounds. If you get a credit repair, you can get done even quicker because oftentimes the credit repair company can take things off of credit and accelerate the process. And if you are in that situation, I always recommend you get credit repair anyway, because they can help you boost your score, which gets you better prices, it gets you better rates, lower fees, that type of thing. So those are some ways that, or some things that happen with bad credit. And hopefully I cleared up some myths for you, and hopefully cleared up some misconceptions for you. Now, as always, if you have any questions about VA home loans or anything in particular, feel free to give me a call. My number is 937-572-3713 or scarpera.com. Talk to you soon. Bye.